I'm Allie. Join me for this Sovereign Crest Pendant video featuring Hubble Stitch and some of the materials that were inspired by this month's subscription treasure box. If you need the supplies, go ahead and look below the video. We'll put links back to there, or open up your treasure box, grab some supplies, a little bit extra, and we'll get ready to get started. So this design is inspired by this month's treasure box, which had everything in it except the 11 OC beads, had the Rivoli and the crystal rounds and the 8 OC beads as well. I'm going to be switching it up, doing a different color to show you a different colorway. We have an 18mm Rivoli, we have some crystal 4mm rounds, I have 8 OC beads and 11 OC beads. I'm working with size 8 dragon thread and I have a size 11 needle. I've put a stop bead on the end of about 4 feet of the dragon thread. We are actually going to be doing some Hubble Stitch. So see that little Y that's created there, and then the little guy, I like to call them my foosball players. The first thing I'm going to do actually is I'm going to make my rounded loop here. My rounded loop that I'm going to make, which I'm going to do the Hubble on top of, is going to be a collection of 8O and 11 OC beads. We're going to do a total of 11 of those. So 8O, 11O, 8O, and you're going to add those to your thread and needle and get those stabilized. It's a little bit different way to start the Hubble. You can start right in with the Hubble. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, making sure that you ended with the opposite bead. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to do something that, thinking about Cheryl, she used to hate when I tied knots instead of use the stop bead, but I'm going to tie a knot in here. That just helps it to hold its shape. You don't have to. You can go back through a couple beads if you want, or push it down next to the stop bead. I have this loop here, and now I'm going to be coming out of an 8O in order to build my Hubble Stitch. I'm going to take my needle and thread back a couple of beads here, and I want to exit out of an 8O C bead. So I want to make sure an 8O is what, oops, wants to go through the 11O, making sure that the 8 is what it's coming out of. Once my needle is coming out of an 8, we're going to do Hubble Stitch. Now, we are going to do a Hubble Stitch, which is going to be 8 OC beads only. We have our bottom of our Hubble here, and we're going to add 2 more beads, 1 and 2. So back into the 8O that our thread is currently coming out of. That's going to set us up in that little kind of triangular formation. Back up through bead number 1 there that we added. Add another bead. This is going to be bead number 4 in the Hubble, and come down through bead number 2. Now we're going to start our next one. The next one we're going to add 1 and 2 beads. Then we're going to connect to the 8O that's already there. That's going to be bead number 3. Sewing through from the right side of the bead towards the left. So it seems a little bit counterintuitive that that's the direction that you're going, but you're going to go basically the opposite way of what you would think. Go back in towards that last Hubble section. You're going to go up through bead number 1 that you added and out before bead number 2. We're then going to add our 4th bead to that Hubble section and come down bead number 2. I'll do 1 more and then you're on your own for a couple passes. 2 beads go in, I go through the next 8O, going from the right towards the left and out right after the 8O. That pulls those 2 beads so it sits right on top of that 8O. We're going to go back through bead number 1 toward bead number 2, but exit. As we do that, we are going to add bead number 4 and come down through bead number 2. Continue on. You can always put this on repeat, but we're going to continue on basically getting these little petals, which are going to connect and make the bottom of the bezel that our 18mm Rivoli is going to sit on top. Do you know how jewelry makers save huge each month on beading supplies? PotomacBeads Treasure Box is a monthly subscription where you can save up to 60% off new and exciting materials. And here's a few examples of what your community made with their treasure boxes. This month we have our best ever deals for new subscribers, including free tools added boxes and kits, and even our ultimate beading kit for annual subscribers. Unleash your creativity with a treasure box subscription. Visit PotomacBeads.com/subscribe or click on the link in the description. As you are in your last one of your Hubble Stitch, this unit right here, you're going to go up through bead number 1, add that 4th bead to that Hubble unit, come down through bead number 2, and now to finish it off, we're going to go up through bead number 1 from Hubble Stitch unit number 1. If it's sitting a little funky, that's okay. You can kind of pull it back a little bit, but we're going to be curving it anyway to create that bezel. Our next step going around from the top of these beads here is going to be to go in and add in an additional set of beads here. That additional set of beads that we are connecting to and that we are going to have here is going to hold in and form that bezel. Once you're through bead number 1, we're going to step up through bead number 4, and that completes that row. We're going to get ready now to add another row of our bezel stitch. We're going to switch this herringbone style to 11 O's. We're going to switch from 11 O's and go in creating that Hubble style, creating the 11, going in and adding 2 beads, going back through bead number 1. And as we go back through bead number 1, we're going to add another 11, come down through bead number 2. I'm just going to flip it in my hand so it looks the same. And now before we go over to our next Hubble unit, we were adding 2 11s. We're going to pick up one more 8-0. That's going to act as a spacer. Then we pick up beads 1 and 2. We're circling back through bead number 3, which is already there from the previous row. We're going to go back up through bead number 1. And we are going to add bead number 4 and come down bead number 2. So we're going to do this again. The 8-0 seed bead is just a filler bead. It's not part of the Hubble at all. It's just helping to connect that area. You're going to put that on and just kind of ignore it. 2 11 O's go on. You're going through the 8 that sits below, like we've been doing, back towards the previous Hubble row. Go up through bead number 1, which is going to be your first 11 there. Add bead number 4, come down through bead number 2. One more time, add an 8, forget about it. 1 and 2 11s, go up through bead number 3, which is from the Hubble row before. Back up through the first 11-0. We'll tight grab to pull back on any thread that's showing. Add an 11, bead number 4, and down 2. I'm going to go the whole way around doing this. It's going to start to curve in towards the interior, which is what we want to happen. We've got 4 of those little peaks, more to go. So back in the beginning here, I have this big gap to close. As I close that, that's going to start to pull that bezel in. What do I have to do to close that gap? The last time we went right from bead number 2 of our Hubble over to bead number 1 of the next one. This time we're doing the same thing. We're coming out bead number 2. We're going to add an 8-0 to fill in that gap. And we are going to go up into Hubble Stitch bead number 1. And then once again, we are going to sew up into bead number 4. Now, to do a true step up, you're going to go into bead number 1, down bead number 2, through bead number 3, back up through 1, and then through 4. I'm not worrying about it too much. You can see that bezel area now for this to sit in perfectly within that design. And what we're going to do now is work on tightening up that bezel, adding in some seed beads, 2 seed beads along the side here. And that is going to pull that into place as we go around the outer edge here. So that kind of Rivoli sits inside. You're going to fold this back, and we are going to pick up 2 of our 11 O's and sew into the next top point. That's really going to start pulling that back. 2 11s, sew into that next top point. 2 11s into that next top point. So you can see the pattern here, and what I'm doing is, as I'm doing this, I'm going to get ready to go in and stick my Rivoli in there. You can put it in there as you go if you want to. Just adding 2 beads, sewing into the next. When you're sewing, you're pulling towards the center to tighten up that bezel. We'll also go around one more time, doing that as well too, because anytime you have the front of a bezel, you always want to make sure that you don't have any way that your thread can kind of pop and that your Rivoli can come out of the bezel. That is the saddest thing when that happens. So you want to make sure to reinforce and get a second strand of thread going through there. Here we go, the whole way around, a couple more to go. And then once we're done with those, we are going to go around one more time back through all the 2s that we just added, or the 2 11-0s, and also that center 11 that we've been going through. All right, I've jumped ahead a little bit because my video was not recording, but I'm going to catch you up quickly. We've gone through here and reinforced that center row, and we're going back and coming out through one of our 11-0 Hubble stitches. From there, we're going to go through an 11-0 seed bead along that Hubble stitch. See that little triangle there of beads? You're then going to go through an 8 and out through the second 8 as well along the back. That second row of 8-0 seed beads is what we are going to connect to. So not the front row that you see most forward. We're going to connect the back row. Connecting that back row there, you are going to add to your thread and needle an 11, a crystal, and an 11. You're going to sew into the next one, adding an 11, a crystal, and 11. We're going the whole way around doing this, adding that 11, crystal, 11. The 11s are going to sit basically into that void of space here as we go around, adding the 11, crystal, 11, with the crystal hole sitting up a little bit higher. You can see that I'm positioning it, so that way it sits that way, because we're going to go in and we are going to catch on to those 4mm crystals and connect them as well there. So I'm not worried that I see a little bit of thread or that hole of the crystal. I want that to occur. The nice thing is with the green thread too, you really won't see much of it. Go around the whole way now, connecting that second row of 8-0s with an 11, crystal, 11. So I'm filling that last little void here, coming out the 8-0, which is next to the beads that I put on first. You can see those 11 crystals sit beautifully on the exterior. And if you want to, you can actually stop here and just create the bezel. I'm going to connect those crystals. So I'm going up through the first 11-0 that sits on the side of the first crystal into that first crystal. And then you're going to navigate that space. It may be a little bit different for you depending on the size crystal. If you've used a 3 or a 4, I'm going to go in and put an 11, an 8, and 11 on my thread and needle and into the next crystal. 11, 8, 11 into the next crystal. If it starts to turn at all for you and it's not sitting nicely, you can switch out the 11-0s for 15s, or switch out, if it's waffling a lot, to 3 11-0s. Just kind of pay attention as you're building and see what sits nice. You even may go in afterwards and say, okay, let me take that off. Let me see it with something else. Let me add a smaller bead, a bigger bead, or maybe even another one of your crystals if you really want that bling. Change it up here, your bezel's set, and you can have fun creating what you want. When you are creating and doing different patterns or changing it up, please post pictures in our Facebook group for beading and jewelry making. We have an amazing community, and by you posting your pictures, it helps to inspire others to create. It also helps to solve questions, problems, gives opinions about different colors. You can poll the amount of people there, so it's kind of great. All right, as we come back around, you can see how perfectly this sits from one another, going around the interior. One more to go. Getting that last 8-0 seed bead in. 11-0, back through the seed beads as well as the crystal to connect them all. From here, I'm going to go back to the second 8-0, 11-0 combo and come out after the 11-0. This is where I'm going to build my bail for my pendant. This would also be a really cute haired thing if you wanted to put it onto a hair clip or onto the end of a bobby pin. Super fun. All right, we are going to do a bezel, and we're going to do a ladder stitch bezel for this. I'm going to move my needle down along my thread a little bit. I'm going to pick up 1, 2, 3, and 4 of my 11 seed beads, and I'm going to sew back into the 3 seed beads that my thread is currently coming out of. So 11, 8, 11. That will sit those 4 right on top. Back through those 4 and out. 1, 2, 3, 4 seed beads into the opposite side of those 4. Step back through the 4 my thread just added, and that's row 2 of the ladder. Continue up, adding your rows of your ladder till your bail is your desired size. Basically, we're going to take the bail and we're going to reconnect it after you have the loop in the interior that you need to put onto your cord, your pendant, your beaded chain if you want to. And we're going to keep doing that ladder stitch, growing the bail. That's your 4th row. I'm going to do 4 more rows and then I'll connect it back to the opposite side there and fold that bail over in place. Once you have your 8 rows of your ladder stitch, you're going to go towards the back of the piece. Again, you can do more if you want to. And you are going to, coming out the ladder, look which side you're coming out of with your thread. And you're going to go into that first 3 beads that your thread was originally coming out of from the top, if you're going on the top, to the bottom. We're going to curve that around and we're going to go back into the bottom of the last row of the ladder stitch. So you're still doing ladder stitch, you're just not adding any more beads, you're connecting to what's already there. We're going to connect to those 3 beads along the base again, give a nice tight pull, and then you have your bail set there. That can be used for an opening. If you want, again, a omega chain or something bigger to go in there, you just change the number of rows and that will change the size of the interior loop on the bail. From here, we just have to get rid of our thread and needle, going back through the crystal that's beside it. We're going to go down into the 11-0. From the 11-0, I'm going to go down into the 8-0 that's there below it. So you're just basically sewing just like a button would, going back through the stitch so you don't see any extra thread, going back to where you have it. You look for your thread end. Remember, we tied a knot, so you don't necessarily need to get back to that thread end. That's up to you. I'm going to take my thread and needle back there, just connecting the 2, going back through that interior row, spinning it around until I get that thread and needle at the same spot. Once it's at the same exact spot, I'm going to take my stop bead off the end of that thread, tie those 2 thread ends together. Nice, easy peasy way to end the thread. Right over left, left over right. Go in with my thread zap thread burner, burn those thread edges down shorter, and then while heating up your thread burner by pressing in the button, I heat it up and I put it right against that thread to burn it down towards the back of the design. Nice and simple, perfect fit, can be used with any 18mm Rivoli. Thanks so much for joining me. Remember, you can still subscribe to the treasure box. Go ahead and look below the video in the details to get links to get back to our website. If you haven't yet, like I said earlier, share your photos in our Facebook group for beading and jewelry making. This community is amazing and they will be happy that you do so, and you'll be happy to share as well. As always, hit that little subscribe button and the like button if you want so you don't miss anything from us here at Potomac Beads. Thanks so much and enjoy your creations.